Hey there, I want to welcome you to the video training. Today what I want to cover is why you are probably leaving $41,000 or more per month on the table in new business by not having this lead generation system that we'll talk about in place in your practice. My name is Brian Willey with Attorney Profit Systems, and I'm super excited today because I have something really important to share with you that I know will help explode your law practice. And I can almost bet you're not doing it right now. And it's so simple and so easy to implement. And if you don't have it in place, you're literally leaving thousands of dollars a week on the table. So what I want to do in this training is show you how you can use this technique that I'm going to teach you to build a freedom lifestyle-based business, generate highly qualified, consistent leads, and how these leads are going to reach out to you, contacting you pre-sold. So here's what's a little bit different about this training versus maybe some other trainings you've been on, webinars, teleseminars. I'm actually going to train you. I'm turning this into a $500 product. You're going to want to stick around to the end because I'm going to show you that you can use this technique starting today and how simple it is and how there are several other missing pieces of the puzzle that you can put in place that I've used with my clients to help them generate an extra $8 million over the past several years. Now, really quickly, here's who it's for and not for. I don't want to waste your time. I know your time's valuable. So this is for solo practitioners and small to medium-sized law firms who feel stuck in their growth. It's not really for a newbie just entering into practice right out of law school. So trust me when I say you've got enough on your plate learning just how to be a lawyer out of law school. Feel free to stick around. You might learn some things. But it's really for people who have a practice, have some business coming in, and have seen certain things working but have noticed that other things don't work the way you were promised. And it's for people who want to really grow their practice. It's really for action takers. So people who roll up their sleeves and implement things that they learn right away. Now here's the problem. Attorneys and law firms are struggling to get business. And more specifically, they're struggling to get high quality leads week in and week out. And why are leads important? Well, without a consistent influx of high quality leads reaching out to you, calling you every single week, eventually you just can't survive. Maybe you opened a law practice as a solo practitioner and without leads, you're going to have to go back to work for someone as an associate. Or you have a law firm that's doing okay and you want to take it to the next level and you're struggling with how to get there. So there's all sorts of reasons why people need leads. Real quick, I want to show you a couple statistics. The truth of the matter is that the most highly compensated attorneys on the planet are employed in the world's mega firms. But the mega firms really only represent 1% of all law firms according to the American Bar Foundation's Lawyer Statistical Report. And furthermore, these mega firms obviously are very selective in their hiring process, choosing only the top students from the most prestigious law schools. And to make matters worse, an ABA study with the Law School Admissions Council looked at 10 different states as a sampling and found out a couple different things. The first was that between 3 and 10 new law school graduates come out of school every year for every job that's actually available in that state. And again, in that state sampling, there were anywhere from 40 on up to 810 lawyers per 10,000 residents. And as of 2012, there were over 1.2 million lawyers on the rolls of the various bar associations. So what does all this mean to you? Well, the point is competition's fierce and getting fiercer every single day. And law firms and solo practitioners are hanging on trying to survive. And if you've managed to survive and even do well, most firms are stuck right where they were at and have not figured out how to grow their practice and add more revenue each year. So if you can't figure out how to market your practice to continuously get high qualified leads and completely stand out among all of this competition we talked about, you're faced with some scary things. Your practice possibly closing, working for someone else as an associate, even quite possibly having to take on a part-time contract position. And by the way, those positions most often pay as little as $21 an hour. I've even seen people take on paralegal jobs just trying to survive. And, that's not right. You worked too hard as a lawyer. You probably have too much debt. You worked hard in law school. So that's just not an option, I'm sure. Now, does any of that sound familiar to you? Well, I wanted to let you know that I know exactly where you're coming from because I was there myself. I initially went out on my own in 2004 and I had no idea where to start. So I went out and had a website built and it looked fantastic and I spent a fortune on it. And the people who built my site said, all you need is a good looking website and you're going to get business. But the reality was nobody came to the site. I was getting no calls, no clients. And when that wasn't working, I leaped over to seminar marketing and tried that. So I had literally cashed in every penny of a 401k from a prior job I had out of law school and invested all of it into seminar marketing, designed to get, quote, qualified people to attend my seminars. And I spent an absolute fortune on running these newspaper ads that they had convinced me would work to get people out to this seminar. And then when the people arrived, guess what you had to do? You had to buy them dinner or lunch while you give them a live presentation. And if people showed up at all, which were few and far between, half of them were there for the free dinner or lunch and not my presentation. So the point is that I think I ended up with maybe 2 actual paying clients for months of this nonsense and thousands of dollars invested. And that was thousands of dollars down the drain. And then I tried my hand at paid advertising and that didn't work. Talk about striking out. Sure, I got some traffic to my site, but I wasn't getting anyone to call me. And so at that point, I was all over the map, spinning my wheels, moving from bright, shiny object to shiny object, each of them promising me that the next thing would get me clients, and none of it seemed to work. And I was really frustrated with almost no money coming in. I'd cleaned up my resume and was ready to start pounding the pavement again looking for a job. And then one day I get this call from my brother who's a lawyer, and he lived in Southern California just like I did at the time. And him and his family were going to get up and move to Austin, Texas. He was frustrated with having worked for many, many years as an associate in a small law firm in Newport Beach, barely making $60,000 a year. So he was going to buy this little practice in Austin and relocate his whole family. And so he moved there in 2005, and I went back to this contract position that I had with the company that I had worked with before out of law school. And so this was kind of comical. He bought this practice in Austin, right? And this practice was really actually more of just a 500 square foot rundown house in an old rundown part of downtown Austin. And the woman who owned it just cashed in basically and said, I'm moving to an island and I'm retiring. And she left my brother with a jumbled mess of a practice. So he did mostly divorce work in California, and now he was having to get up to speed on criminal law, civil litigation, you name it. The former owner took on every kind of case that walked through the door, and to add insult to injury, she didn't charge much at all. In the good years, that practice was lucky if it was cranking out $175,000 a year gross. And when my brother bought the practice, after overhead, paying a secretary, and making payments on the actual purchase of the practice, he was left with really where he was in Newport Beach, but now working double the hours trying to get up to speed to learn all these new areas of law. And so we talked on the phone that day in the summer of 2006, and he asked me if I wanted to partner up. By that time, I had some steady contract work coming in with this company I had done work for before, and when I was making a little bit of money. And, I think he just wanted to partner up and figure out if we could make it work together. And I'd given up on the idea of a solo practice at that point. I was done with that idea. But as we talked more, I could tell my brother's frustration. He wanted to figure out, could we combine our income, partner up, and build a practice that would work? And so my fiance and I thought, what the heck? It couldn't be much worse than what's going on in California. So let's move to Austin. And so in the fall of 2006, we did. We moved 1,500 miles away to Austin, and I set up shop with my brother in this tiny one-room office of this dilapidated house. And talk about an education. In my first week, I ran a deposition for the first time in my life, went to court for the first time in my life, and went to jail for the first time in my life. No, I didn't get arrested. My brother had actually agreed for $500 to represent the son of this restaurant owner who had been caught stealing from a construction site. So there we were in the basement of this jail, visiting this guy, prepping him for a hearing. And I'm thinking, how in the world is he agreeing to take on these kind of cases for $500, and what did I get myself into? And I knew right then that things had to change if we were going to make this work. I could see the writing on the wall. And I had literally reached the end of my rope. I hit a brick wall. I'd been there a week, and I was actually already ready to move back to Southern California or find a different contract position in Austin. This firm thing was definitely not for me, or at least not the way that my brother was doing it. And then this huge breakthrough occurred. Several years back, I had started getting interested in marketing, and I was learning a bunch, but I hadn't really had the opportunity at that point to put it all in place and put it to the test. Working as a contract lawyer for a company doesn't really present that kind of opportunity. So slowly but surely, our little firm in Austin was going to be my guinea pig. And I dug in hard and spent hours and hours studying marketing techniques. The firm was usually pretty slow anyway, and I had plenty of time, but even that wasn't enough to learn all this stuff. And I'd go home, much to my fiance's chagrin, and spend hours every night on top of that reading every marketing book and program I could get my hands on. And in the next few months, I started implementing these techniques. And by the end of December 2006, we'd had our first $20,000 month. That was 3 months in. And this is a month where for 10 days to 2 weeks around the holidays, firms are dead and making no money. Then in January, we did it again. And each month it kept increasing. Until one day I remember I was headed out the door in May of 2007, about 6 months after I arrived. And I remember having this conversation with my brother. And he said, look, don't worry at all about things back here while you're gone. We just had a $40,000 month. We have plenty of money in the bank. And then I'll never forget this. He went and got his checkbook from his office and wrote me a $5,000 extra check to spend on my honeymoon. So I can't tell you how big of a relief that was. So these marketing techniques were starting to pay off and pay off really, really big. We were both tired of being broke, obviously, of getting the wrong leads, not enough leads, getting people who could barely scrape up enough money out of their pocket for a retainer. And here we were just a few months later, and we'd started really figuring this thing out. It would be thousands of hours later of intensive marketing study and testing before the system was actually perfected, but thankfully it didn't take that long for our practice to grow from $175,000 a year to $500,000 a year in just 18 months. And that was huge. It was life-changing. We were both struggling 6 months before, and to think that we could make these simple tweaks in our business and add an extra $325,000 a year over the next 18 months was absolutely mind-boggling. And then by adding even more pieces of the puzzle over the next 3 years, the practice started doing $1 million a year in revenue. So that's what I want to teach you today. I want to show you what's possible and that you don't have to be an ABA statistic. So would you like me to share with you how I did it? Now, why would I share this? Well, I know how difficult it was when I went through this 2-year journey. From the time I'd gone out on my own till the time I joined up with my brother and we'd figured things out to now 7 years later, where a bad month for the practice is $80,000. Look, I want to help you. I want to help you build a practice that doesn't just survive but knocks it out of the park. And one that's a lifestyle-based practice where you don't have to work more hours. You just get the right kinds of clients because you have so many leads coming in that you can take less of them because they pay you more. So before we really jump into the actual training portion, I want to talk to you about what most lawyers think are going to work to fix their lead problems or their lack of clients. And so you've probably heard this one. You have to have a website. Most lawyers today have websites. But what you're told is this website has to be really nice. It has to look good, super professional. I mean, after all, you are a lawyer, right? You have a professional degree. The law is serious business, and you'd better convey the seriousness. And I'm being a little facetious, obviously. But you go out and you pay somebody to build this really nice-looking website. Looks fantastic, talks about you and your practice areas and your degrees and memberships and certifications. And so here's the thing. There's a common misperception that authority of the lawyer and the design of your website is what's going to get you leads. I mean, after all, how many of you on this training today have heard you just need a good-looking website and your potential clients are going to pick up the phone and call you? I'm sure you've heard this one over and over too, and if not, just check your spam box of your InMail and get back to me. If you just hire the right SEO company, search engine optimization, usually who are, by the way, from India, and get your site ranking well, you're going to do really, really well. And to an extent, that's true. With high rankings for the right keywords, that can help you get more business. But SEO in and of itself is not going to solve your problems. And if you use the wrong company, they're going to get you banned from the search engines because a lot of them use shady tactics. Or maybe you've heard, hey, just invest $3,000 a month in Google AdWords and you'll have your phone ringing off the hook. And again, AdWords can be a super effective strategy when it's done right, but for most people, it's like throwing money out the window because they don't have a strategy. You're gambling for the most part. And look, this is not your fault. You've been told these things work, and maybe you've seen them work for colleagues. Maybe you've tried them and you've had a little bit of success, or maybe not. But here's what I want to do. I want to show you one thing that's going to change your practice forever. And this one tip works so well for me and the practices and other businesses that I've worked with that I really consider it to be $1 million secret. So really quickly, I want to show you 2 websites, and I want you to study each for just a minute. So look at the top website and the bottom site. Site number 1, site number 2. Now, what did the second website have that the first one didn't? Let's look again really quickly. So glance at these sites, site number 1, site number 2. Did you spot it? Well, if you said that the second one has a way to capture leads, you nailed it. Good job. So if we talk about the first one, let's look at it. I'm not trying to pick on this site in any way. It's actually a beautifully designed site. Looks fantastic. But what do we just talk about? Beautiful sites don't necessarily equate to leads. What it doesn't have is a way to capture leads. It's more of what I call a business card website. It's all about the services offered, practice areas, all about the lawyer. And yeah, it has a spot where you can contact the lawyer. And you might be saying, hey, Brian, isn't that contact form a way to capture leads on the site? I have one of those on my site and people contact me. And yeah, to an extent, it captures leads because it sends you an email and notifies you that someone maybe wants to have a phone call with you, but that's where that ends. So let's look more closely at the second site. What do I mean by a way of capturing leads? I mean that this site has what the other site doesn't. It has a purpose. And its purpose is to capture leads first and to get the person to contact me, whether it's now or in the future. I'm going to talk about that. So why is capturing leads important? Well, this is what they call in the South a writer-downer. So you might want to grab a pen and paper and remember this one and ingrain it into your brain from here on out. It's very important. People buy when they want to buy, not when we want them to buy. So what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that only about 1 to 2% of the people who actually land on your site today are ready to hire you now, ready to pick up the phone or fill out that contact form today. So that means that 98 to 99% of the people that land on your site today are in information gathering mode. They're not ready. And that's okay. That's reality. That is, that's how it is with internet searchers. So how do we combat this problem? Well, you have to capture their attention, and you do that in a couple different ways. And the first way is that you have to send them to a relevant landing page on your site. So really quick, an example. If you're a divorce lawyer and someone's doing research on child support, you don't want them to necessarily land on your homepage, which is all about these various family law issues: divorce, child support, child custody, alimony. You get the picture. You have 7 seconds to capture someone's attention. If they can't figure out, that they've landed on the right page to get the answers that they were there looking for, they're gone really, really quickly. 7 seconds. And that's called a bounce, meaning that someone visited your site and, actually after visiting one page left in about 7 seconds. And that's not good. You may have spent a bunch of money to get somebody there. Google AdWords, for instance, costs upwards of 15 to 30 to sometimes $60 or more per click every time somebody clicks on your ads. So if you get them there and take them to your home page, you're wasting money really, really quickly. So step 1, have a relevant landing page. Step 2, now knowing what we said before to be true, that 98 to 99% are not ready to call you or fill out your form now, you have to get their attention in a different way. And what I'm going to tell you is going to sound counterintuitive. to everything that you've been taught and everything you think to be true. So I'm asking you to suspend disbelief for just a minute. The successful lawyers that do well have sites that are more like the National Enquirer than the New York Times. So what in the heck do I mean by that? Am I suggesting that you sensationalize your site? No, I'm not. Am I suggesting you put fake stories on your site? Absolutely not. What I mean is that the reason the National Enquirer is one of the best-selling magazines of all time, week after week, is they draw your attention in, and they do that through headlines. So you have to have a headline on your site that really kind of sucks somebody into the site and makes them want to read further. And most law sites don't have a headline at all. They just say something like, "Welcome to our site." So what's more powerful, "Welcome to our site," or how about "Divorce attorney helps you solve your family law problem quickly with dignity and respect so that you can stop the endless bickering and move on with your life"? So which one sounds more compelling? Which one speaks to you more emotionally? I'm guessing you're going to say the second one. So the next part to a successful website, and again, this is really, in my opinion, $1 million advice, is what I call the ethical bribe. So remember, in the second site I showed you, the difference is that they didn't just have a contact form, they had a way to get a name and email. Well, how did they do it? So see this little guide here. And on that site, there was a sign-up form beneath it, and I call it an ethical bribe. You're offering somebody a value, something of value in return for their name and email address. And in fact, you're giving them more value than their name and email address is worth. So that's why it's ethical. And knowing that 98 to 99% of the people aren't going to pick up the phone and call you today or fill out your contact form, wouldn't it be nice if a percentage of them were drawn into your book or your video series that you created that's going to give them answers to the burning questions that they have in exchange for a name and email? So you're probably saying, hey, why in the world would I want to get their name and email? That's a great question. Follow-up. So look, you may have invested all this time and money on your site, and you're paying to get it ranked through SEO, or you're paying Google AdWords or Facebook to run advertisements. And the point is, once a person gets there, what are you going to do with them? You have to convert them. What do I mean by conversion? Well, our first goal, obviously, is to get them to pick up the phone and call us today or fill out our contact form today. But we talked about that. Most of the time, that's just not true. That's not going to happen. That would be an immediate conversion. But for everyone else, our goal has to be to convert them over time. And why would you want to do this? Well, knowing that people buy when they want to buy and not when we want them to buy, capturing a name and email allows you to follow up with them, provide them with educational content through these emails, sending them to one of your videos to educate them further, sending them testimonials. All of these things convert them over time. So guess what happens? When they're ready to make a buying decision, guess what they do? You're the one that's actually reached out to that person over and over again, made a connection with them, build rapport with them, not your competition, because they're not doing any of these things. So when it comes time to hire somebody, you become the logical choice, not your competition. And look, this one breakthrough has been responsible for adding just a ton of money to not only my practice with my brother, but to my clients' practices and other businesses that I've worked for. So really quickly, look at an example of one of my clients who uses this method every day in his site. So his site before was a standard business card website, and he wasn't getting phone calls. And what we did is we decided to add a separate email sign-up form with a book giveaway. Remember the ethical bribe I talked about? Guess what happened? Well, the people that were leaving his site or weren't calling right away started joining his email list to get his book and get all these great tips that he was giving away on bankruptcy. And the lead flow stacked up. So what I mean by that is that people are in different points of their decision-making process, but every week he continues to have leads come into his system. So in any given week, he has people who are further along in the process calling him, ready to make an appointment with him today. So what does all this mean to you? Adding a way to capture leads to your site not only gives you a chance to build a list, it does a lot more than that. It positions you as the expert in your field over your competition. And remember, we talked about how much competition is out there. And it helps you create a connection with that person so that they feel like they know you before they ever call you. And people only buy from people that they know, like, and trust, period. And most importantly, it sends you a pre-qualified lead. So why is that important? Well, marketing, in the words of the great marketer Joe Polish, provides you with somebody who's pre-qualified, pre-interested, pre-motivated, predisposed to doing business with you. And marketing does so predictably, dependably, and on autopilot. So let me translate. All that means is that the person is then pre-sold because they know, like, and trust you. And this equates into you being able to charge premium fees because you're the logical choice. You become actually the only choice of who they want to do business with. So I'm hoping you can see how powerful this is. And this was the first piece of the big breakthrough that our little firm had in Austin. And once we got this in place, we obviously still had a lot to figure out, but it started to help grow our firm's business very quickly once we got this lead funnel in place. Now once you capture the lead, this is just the beginning of the process. You have to have a way to follow up with them. You have to know how to follow up with them, when, what to say to them, how to position your firm as the solution to their problem, how to get the right kind of qualified traffic to your website so that you're in a position to convert them into a lead in the first place and then to a paying client, how to make sure that the message about you on third-party websites is aligned with the image and message you're portraying about yourself to your client, how to use client success stories as social proof that proves to the person that you can help them too. So there's all these different pieces of the puzzle. Now I want to ask you a quick question. Has this information been helpful? Do you think you could put this in place in your firm and start making money with it? And if this has been valuable, I want to know if you'd like to learn more. How would you like it if you could learn 50 times what I've had time to teach you here today in this video training? And the truth is, I know 50 times more than I've shared with you because we only had a limited amount of time during this training. And if I rush through it, it's not going to do anybody any good. But literally, this is just the tip of the iceberg. So how would you like to be able to learn the big things that you have to have in place if you want to add $500,000 or even $1 million to your practice in 12 months? Now, let me be clear. I'm not making income claims of any kind. I don't know you personally or your practice or your work habits or your desire to be successful. You might not make this kind of money at all. You may do significantly better. It all depends on one thing: taking massive action. So putting in place all these pieces of the puzzle that each do their little part to add up into big revenues. Now, what do I mean? Well, the way that you take massive action and put in place all these pieces of the puzzle is with my number one rule: speed to implementation, or what I call get off your butt and get moving. So what do I mean by that? I have a saying that it doesn't have to be fancy, doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be. All this means is that you have to take action and start somewhere and start putting in place all these pieces of the puzzle. You don't have to do it all at once. But the truth is, to make serious money as a lawyer or a law firm, you have to put in place all these pieces of the puzzle at some point. But you have to start somewhere. So don't feel like it has to be perfect to get started. And the next piece of advice is that you have to learn to be a marketer first and a lawyer second. That's very, very important. So this is really the tip of the iceberg of everything that I would teach my clients when I work with them one-on-one every week in a coaching scenario. And so I'm hoping that you found this part of the information helpful. And so here's what I want to do. I want to take you through my law firm marketing bootcamp. And what this is it's a 6-month program. And twice a month, what you're going to get is a brand new, what I call look over my shoulder video lesson delivered to you right in your inbox. So I call it look over my shoulder because I'm going to show you the exact steps that I've used over the years to build up successful law practices and work with successful businesses who have added millions of dollars a year to their revenues. I'm going to show you exactly how I've done it in a video series delivered to you twice a month. So here's what you're going to get. In month 1, we're going to cover your ethical bribe giveaway so that you can begin to set up a lead capture system on your site. So you're going to learn all about the different types of ethical bribes and which ones work, which ones don't, how to have them written for you. By the way, very inexpensively, how to get cover art produced for your ebook, very inexpensively, how to structure your giveaway as the exact solution for the pain your ideal client's facing. So this is super powerful, and I can't overemphasize its importance. This is going to position you as the expert and help you immediately connect with your prospect. And it's going to keep them engaged on your site longer and position you to be the person they eventually want to do business with, whether they realize it today or not. So you're going to get all of my best resources in addition to this video training of who I use personally to write books for me, articles, blog posts, where I get cover art produced, all that stuff. In the second lesson in month 1, we are going to go through how to set up a powerful autoresponder system. So when someone signs up on your site for your free book, video series, or whatever it is you created from lesson number 1, you're going to have an automatic way to follow up with them. And I'll show you the exact service I use to deliver my pre-written emails on autopilot, even when I'm sleeping. And I have you covered. If you're not technical, don't worry. I'm going to show you step-by-step how to set the system up and how to integrate it into your site super easily. And if you're not a tech person and you have a website guy that does all this, no problem at all. I'll give you step-by-step instructions on what to tell them, and they can have it up and ready in 10 minutes. And, I'll even show you which autoresponder program I use and give you a shortcut plugin that I use for WordPress if you happen to use a WordPress site that can help you get your giveaway and your email opt-in list up on your site really, really quickly. In month 2, what we're going to do is talk about the follow-up. So you have in place this autoresponder system and your lead giveaway, right? Your ethical bribe. Now we're going to talk about why the money is in the follow-up. Some people say the money's in the list, and to an extent that's true. You have to have a list, but the real money is in the follow-up and how you go about it. So we're going to talk about exactly what makes for a powerful, high-converting autoresponder series. I'm going to walk you through the psychology behind how to send pre-written emails that over time help you build rapport, build your authority as the only solution to your prospects' problems, and how to get them to pick up the phone and call you pre-sold, ready to sign up before they ever walk through the door. And as a bonus that week, I'm going to even give you my 7 email series swipe file pre-written. So all you need to do is tweak it so that it's your message and it has your name on it. Now, in the next week, you're going to get a really powerful video that's really going to help you convert. You're going to learn how to turn your website into a conversion machine. So what I'm going to do is go through all the components of what makes a successful website, which ones convert the best and why, and which ones don't, and how you can set up yours to become a conversion machine. So it's very powerful. You're not going to want to miss a second of this week. I'm going to show you some serious secrets that are going to have your competition wondering what the heck you're doing that they aren't. And if you're spending any kind of money from ads or SEO to get traffic to your site, these tricks are going to make sure that you're not wasting money and actually getting leads that convert. And the power is in the simplicity of it. It's so simple, but no one else really does it. Now, in month 3, the first lesson, we're going to go through how you can break away from the high cost of website fees. So if you currently pay somebody for your site and to maintain that site each month, I'm going to show you how you can actually fire your website guy if you want to. WordPress is super simple. So what I'm going to do is a screen capture video where I literally walk you through how to buy a domain name, set up your own hosting account, create a WordPress database, and upload a pre-done, really nice looking WordPress theme all in minutes. And from there, I'm going to show you how to add new content yourself so you're not always paying someone else to do it. And look, if you already have a website that's not in WordPress, you can talk to your website person, get them easily to convert it over to WordPress, and then you take control over it, and you'll have all these tips on how to add content yourself, which will help build up the authority of your site, get you better rankings, all these great things. In the second lesson, we're going to talk about kickstarting traffic to your website with high converting paid traffic. So what I'm going to do in this lesson is walk you through all the different types of paid traffic and how you can get started right away with paid traffic that converts. So remember, you would have already made these conversion tweaks to your website, so it's ready to convert these visitors into clients. And maybe you've been burned by paid traffic before, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what works and what doesn't. There's really three main choices for paid traffic, and I'm going to walk you through each and show you really the good, bad, and ugly of all of them. Now, in month 4, the first lesson, we're going to talk about Google AdWords and why it's costing you a fortune and how to fix it now. Maybe you don't use Google AdWords now, but you're thinking about it. I'm going to walk you through why it will cost you a fortune if you do it the wrong way, and how you can actually have your ads show up in better positions than your competitors for far less money. I'm going to show you how to write a proper ad that stands out amongst all this competition we talked about and converts. So even if you pay somebody now to handle your Google AdWords, you're going to want to pay close attention this week to this training and learn how to write a good ad and learn how to manage them. The truth is that the companies that you hand your money to manage your AdWords usually have no idea how to write a powerful ad that's going to convert for you over and over again. So if you learn this, you're going to save a ton of money on your Google AdWords bill. In the next lesson, we're going to dive into Facebook, and I'm going to teach you why everything you've been taught about Facebook is totally wrong. I'm going to show you why you have to have a Facebook business page. You absolutely have to. But more importantly, I'm going to show you how to build up a loyal following in your town where it counts. And then how to leverage this by creating ads that will not only show to your following in your town, but then their friends and family and colleagues and coworkers in that town as well. So this is how you get viral traffic. And this is a viral traffic getting method for lawyers that almost nobody uses. And I've used this for my clients week in and week out to get them just a ton of new leads over and over. And Facebook traffic can be really cheap, way cheaper than Google AdWords if you do it the right way. So I'm going to show you in this training how to set up a Facebook business page, connect it with your personal account, which you'll need to run advertisements, and then how to quickly set up powerful converting ads. Now, I know of 10 different Facebook experts out there. There's probably a lot more, and each of these guys charge between $2,000 and $6,000 or more to teach you what I'm going to teach you in this week. And I've personally invested $10,000 of my own cash learning this. So this is going to be a really, really powerful week. Now, month 5, the first lesson, we're going to get started with organic traffic. And really, it's going to be about search engine optimization and why what you've heard about it is wrong and what you need to do about it. Paid traffic is really fantastic if you go about it the right way, and I'm going to teach you the right way. But the fact of the matter is you need to have your fishing pole in a lot of different waters. I'm going to teach you how SEO really works, who you can trust, who you can't, and why Google has handed you a gift in the form of Google Plus Local, known as Google Maps, and why your competitors may be outranking you right now and what to do about it. And once you understand how this works and the ridiculous amount of traffic you can get from it, you're going to want to do it. But if you do it the wrong way, your site can literally be banned from the search engines forever. So this week is really important because I know a lot of lawyers have hired some shady SEO firms out there, and they have no idea of the tactics that these guys are using and the garbage content that they put out there and how your practice and your site are at risk if you don't get this right. Now, in the second lesson, we're going to talk about your online reputation. Once you position yourself as a solution to your prospects' problem and build yourself up as the authority in your market, your online reputation had better match this. Now, I meet lawyers all the time who have no idea of all the bad things people are saying about them online. And you can almost bet that if your phone isn't ringing and you've implemented all the information from the prior lessons, there's a disconnect. And that disconnect is probably either a bad reputation or sometimes even worse, no reputation at all. Many law firms have really no presence, no reviews, and you can better believe that your prospective client is researching the heck out of you. And if they can't find any information about you or not enough reviews, or if the reviews are bad, this is going to influence their decision. So I'm going to show you how third-party sites like Avvo, Yelp, Google Plus Local, and all these other sites are either the key to your success or a surefire path to failure. And if you have no reputation, I'm going to show you how to build it up fast. If you have a bad reputation, I'm going to show you how you control this and build back up your good name. And as a bonus this week, I'm also going to give you my 3-part method for gathering testimonials for your site. That is really the most influential way I know to get other people to make a decision about you. And if you don't have testimonials on your site, you've got to get them up there. And I'm going to show you how to get started today, where to put them on your site for maximum benefit. So I'll give you the email scripts that I've written so you can reach out to your past clients and get them to post glowing reviews of you online that influence other people's decisions tremendously. And I'm even going to give you a 3-part short email that you can send that will, help you get testimonials directly for your site, and exactly how to structure it so you get really the answer that you want. Now, in month 6, we're going to start off this lesson, or the first lesson, by talking about how to use video in your practice to get new visitors, be seen as the authority, and a trusted friend. So what I want to do is I want to show you in this lesson how easy it is to create high quality videos. Get them up online and on your website. And you don't even have to be in front of the camera. I'll show you how you can put together slideshow style videos that educate your prospects, answer their questions, and get them to want to take the next step. And I'm going to show you how you can move away from these boring static FAQs on your site that most other lawyers use, and use video FAQs that no one else is using. And I'll show you how you can get your first video online in 20 minutes. Now, to wrap up month 6, I'm going to talk about how to take really only clients that you want, and how you can do this and double, quadruple, or even 10 times your fees without your client blinking. And so once we've gone through all these other steps of how to set up your lead generation system, how to follow up with your client, how to get your website dialed in for conversions, going through the different free and paid traffic sources and how to dial all of those in, I'm going to teach you something incredibly valuable to help you make some serious extra money very quickly. I want to show you how to position yourself, your office, and your staff in a way that's going to allow you to command premium fees. And we use this exact system to move away from these measly 1,500 divorce retainers that we were getting on up to $15,000 to $20,000 retainers today. And the best part is that everything that leads up to this last lesson that you put in place is going to position you to charge these kind of fees and get the right kinds of clients, and charge these fees without your client batting an eye. So these trainings are well worth over $11,200. My private coaching clients pay a minimum of $5,000 per month to work with me one-on-one. And I'm not saying that to brag, that's just the truth. And so you're probably thinking that based on everything that I've shared today that you'd like to get immediate access to the first training tonight to really kickstart your law practice. And you're probably saying, heck yeah, but not for $11,200. So here's what I want to do for you. Because I've set this up as a members-only video training series, I can keep my costs way down while still giving you very high value and every bit of training that you're going to need to grow your practice. So here's what I've done. I've set this up as a fixed-term 6-month training program. As I mentioned, you're going to get 2 new look-over-my-shoulder training video courses a month, plus a ton of bonuses like swipe files of ads that I've used that convert well, my exact follow-up autoresponder email sequence that converts leads into paying clients week in and week out, all my best resources of where I go to get content created like ebooks, articles, blog posts, cover art for your giveaway, and much more. And I could easily charge $997 a month or more for this training. But for charter members, I want you to have immediate access to your first lesson today for just $197. I want to reward you for taking action. And after that, you pay $197 a month to remain a member and keep getting access to the lessons twice a month. And here's the great thing. At the end of 6 months, you're done. You become a lifetime member for free. So any updates you're going to get for free. Plus, don't worry, you're completely backed by my 30-day money-back guarantee. So if for any reason this isn't for you, or no reason at all, Just let me know in the first 30 days and I'll refund your payment promptly. And by the way, you can cancel at any time. You're not even locked in for the full 6 months. So if you decide later this isn't for you, just let me know and cancel. But honestly, I think you're going to want to stick around through all the lessons because this is really, really powerful stuff. So you're going to see a place below where you can sign up, and you need to do it quickly because this special $197 pricing is for charter members only. Once the training reaches 100 people, I'm going to raise the price most likely to $497 per month. And look, if you're on the fence, let me ask you a quick question. Where were you a year ago with this problem? Are you better off now than you were a year ago? So really quickly, do me a favor and take out a piece of paper. Let's just do a 2-minute exercise. What I want you to do is write 2 numbers on it. I want you to write what you made last month in your practice. And number 2, I want you to write what you want to make each month. And once you have that done, I want you to subtract number 2 from number 1. This is what you're leaving on the table each and every month that you continue to do things the same way you have year in and year out. So as an example, maybe you wrote last month I made $10,000 and I want to make $50,000 a month. Well, 10,000 minus 50,000 is minus 40,000. You're leaving $40,000 on the month on the table every single month that you continue to take action in the manner that you've done over the years. So again, you're going to see a place below to sign up, and you need to do it quickly because remember, this is special pricing, $197, and it's for charter members only. Once the training reaches 100 people, I'm going to raise the price up most likely to $497 a month. And let me let you know, though, really quickly that this training isn't for everyone. If you're not willing to put in some work, or if you think that you can put this under your pillow and by osmosis it's just going to sink in and magically your practice is going to do better, then this training is not for you. But if you are willing to watch the lessons and put in a little work, it's going to change your practice forever. So if this sounds right for you, then I'll see you on the other side with your first lesson arriving in your inbox right after you complete the sign-up process. So thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great day.